you. Oh no, if you're an Ohtani fan. The LA Angels announce that Shohei Ohtani, an MRI showed damage to his pitching elbow, that UCL problem that he's had all season long. They are recommending surgery, the Tommy John variety. But in the meantime, he will remain in the Angels lineup, cleared to hit, no timetable on that procedure to his elbow. So as we take a look at his timeline, placed on the 10-day DL, right UCL sprain. That was the last time he had pitched, was actually June 6th. Still hit in that meantime. During that time, hitting well for LA, then cleared to pitch against the Astros last Sunday, where he was on a pitch count, got into the third, 49 pitches. It was about a 50 to 60 pitch limit for him. And then the news on Wednesday, the recommendation of Tommy John surgery. That is the timeline for one Shohei Ohtani. Let's bring in our Jonah Keri to dissect and really observe what he thinks is happening with Shohei Ohtani right now. So, Jonah, I sort of laid out the timeline for Shohei Ohtani. You hear the news of the recommendation. What first comes to mind for you?
Anger. I am angry at the Angels. I don't understand this at all. I mean, Ohtani is, I'm going to go a little over top here, but he's a precious treasure to us, man. We're making Babe Ruth comparisons. He's the first two-way player who might do damage on both sides since Babe Ruth. I mean, what are we talking about? And then to take this guy who had serious arm troubles and put him back on the mound, for what reason? For a beginning of September push to maybe get back to 500? It doesn't make any sense. You could have put the guy on the shelf regardless. You see teams shut down perfectly healthy young pitchers because they reach 150 innings. You've got a guy who's such a huge part of your franchise, such a huge part of your identity. Fans everywhere appreciate how great he is, and you're running him out there. It makes no sense. So, I feel for Ohtani, I feel for Angels fans and all that stuff, because the fact of the matter is that now he's probably not going to pitch until, 2020? So it's awful. And even weirder than this, so what? So if he has Tommy John surgery, let's say next week, so is he in the lineup the next night? How does that work? It's really interesting. This is all very unprecedented. So on the one hand, there's a little bit of curiosity, but most of it is just anger. This was just stupid on the part of the Angels. There's no other way to dress it up. Stupid decision and a bad result.
Yeah, so he's in the lineup tonight. You mentioned sort of this uncharted territory. You're a guy that's seen a lot of baseball, covered a lot of baseball. You also talked about a precious treasure. I saw there was a stat on Sunday. Ohtani, the first guy in 99 years to go 50 innings and hit 15 jacks. And you mentioned the Babe Ruth comparison. That was the other guy. So not only are we seeing stuff that we don't see every day, we don't see it every century. Going into this season and then watching it this season, what were some of your hopes of Ohtani as really the first two-way star player in years and decades?
I thought he would pitch much better than he would hit. And the book on him was that he was an elite pitcher, that he had health concerns, but if they managed his workload, that he would be probably okay. And the Angels were careful at first, They had him in a six-man rotation. He was basically pitching about once a week, but stuff happens. What surprised me the most, really, was that he was such a refined hitter. We knew that he had power, we knew that he had speed, we knew that he had natural ability, but his first home run of his major league career came off a curveball. And that was the issue, supposedly, with Ohtani, was he could hit straight pitches, no problem, but once you get into major league quality, sliders and changeups and curveballs and so forth, how was that going to go? Went great. Ohtani showed himself to be a really refined hitter. He had a good approach, good batting eye, and a ton of power and a ton of athleticism. So it was all very exciting to watch. And, of course, that will continue. It looks like he'll still continue to be a hitter in good stead. It's just that now we're going to be deprived of his pitching, obviously, for quite a while.
So let's just go with the theory and that, he's going to recover from this UCL with Tommy John surgery. Do you think then he will continue to be a two-way player? Will he eventually become either a hitter or a pitcher?
Yeah, I don't necessarily see why you would give up the ghost on that. I think that you can do both. It's not clear that, I don't even think anybody's implied that the fact that he comes up there and takes a few swings a night causes his arm to get hurt. I mean, we have National League pitchers who, take whacks. Madison Bumgarner swings for the fences every time up. not a problem for him. Up until recently, he was the most durable pitcher in the game, arguably. So, yeah, I could see both happening, but I think it's a matter of the training regimen, too, because, part of pitching is just really paying attention to detail in terms of prevention and in terms of what you call prehab, right? Rehab, if it's after the fact. Prehab is making sure that you're healthy before. So the question is, if he's focused on hitting and if he's taking BP and doing all that stuff, is he getting away from the things that could make him his best for pitching? As far as we know, no. All the stuff that's been written about and all the stuff that's been said with Ohtani suggests that he's just doubling up. He's just working harder than a lot of other guys because he needs to. He's doing both. And I think that it would be a disservice to try to limit him. If he can do both, go for it. The fact that he's swinging for the fences again does not seem to affect his UCL in particular, so I don't know why he would have to shut that down.
All right, Jonah, let's move on to a big series. The Brewers are really making the most